I'm Jacob Hornberger, Libertarian candidate for president. With the adoption of the Constitution, the American people brought into existence the most unusual economic system in history. It was one in which the federal government was prohibited from interfering with, regulating, or controlling economic activity. The rest of the people in the world were absolutely shocked because throughout history, this is precisely what governments had done. They had controlled and regulated economic activity. Combined with the fact that the American people were free of income taxation, they were free to keep everything they earned, combined with the fact that there was open immigration, anyone from anywhere in the world was free to come to the United States, combined with the fact that there was sound money, gold and silver coins were the official money, all of this lasted for 100 years, and it brought into existence the most prosperous and the freest nation in history. Now, we know there were some downsides to the 19th century, slavery being the biggest one, another one being violation of women's rights. But the fact is that the American people discovered how to end poverty. And that was through the massive accumulation of wealth, which was converted into productive capital, which made workers more productive, that brought higher revenues and higher salaries through the competitive process. And part of this enormous increase in the standard of living, one that the world marveled over, was the fact that there was no government control over economic activity, including no minimum wage laws. And yet, for example, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, workers' salaries doubled. Not because of inflation, because there was no inflation. There was gold and silver coin, not mass-produced paper money by the Federal Reserve. There was no Federal Reserve. It was because there was sound money, there was enterprise, it was free of government regulation, massive accumulation of capital because there was no income tax, and then open immigration, which provided enormous benefits through the division of labor from all these new people flooding into the United States. Workers' salaries doubled, and then they doubled again during that period of time. It was the most incredible economic achievement that mankind has ever seen. Of course, unfortunately, later generations of Americans abandoned that system in favor of a highly regulated society, regulated economy, including minimum wage laws, maximum hours legislation, and other minute regulations of economic activity. The whole welfare state way of life manifested by socialist programs like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, corporate bailouts, and the like. The massive warfare state, the massive system of immigration controls, all of which served as a way to decrease the standard of living of the American people, or at least impede the tremendous progress toward ever-increasing standards of living that the American people had been experiencing through this system that was known as free enterprise. That was enterprise that was free of government control and regulation. If we're going to get our nation back on the right road, this is one of the sound founding principles of our nation that we need to restore. A genuine free market system, a genuine free enterprise system, where all economic enterprise is free of government control and regulation. In other words, where there is a total separation of economy and the state, just as our ancestors separated church and state. I'm Jacob Hornberger, Libertarian candidate for president.